SmallBizPro, so we grow. Using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Gilbert is here, but we cannot hear him. I hope you guys can hear me. Gilbert, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay, Gilbert is going to be a little one-sided here then. Gilbert is working on his sound. Welcome to the Business Zone. It is Friday, June 7th. We are finished and completed the first week of June. May went by so fast. And so we're in the month of June. We'll be celebrating Father's Day. I haven't checked to see what our awareness is for this month, but I will check and see what that is shortly. But welcome to us, and we're glad to have you. Hope your week has been well. And we're heading into the summer, and we're heading into some heat in the city, in the state of California. So buckle down, get your whatever it requires for you to be cool. Grab that and make sure that you stay cool in this next couple of weeks, because I hear it's going to be something else. And I don't know, Gilbert is still working on his sound.
On the sound.
He can't get his sound together.
I don't know.
Today we are going to talk about, hopefully we're going to talk about the next level of business, and that is business exit strategy. When we think about business, we're always thinking about the now and not and what that business looks like and how we want to grow it and how we want to make money at it. But we have to be able to look at it from a bigger picture. And that bigger picture is that when we start businesses, we actually should be looking at what the exit strategy would be. And we're going to talk about the number of opportunities that you have in order to do that. So it should be a great show. We do have, and this Gilbert don't know this yet because I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but we're going to have a couple people that'll pop in very shortly, about 3:15, and they're going to talk about an event because this is the month of June, and it is Father's Day month. So one of my colleagues, Denise Estelle, she hosts an event awards event every June called Honor Thy Father. So they're going to come on and talk about that and what you need to do, especially if you live in Los Angeles, in order to support them. You know, the men in our lives are just as important as the women in our lives. So she's been doing this for a number of years, and she'll let us know what that looks like and how many years she's been doing that when she comes on. But again, you are tuned into the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. I am Crystal, and that's Gilbert right there. He's gonna wave to you. Hello, wave, Gilbert.
I can hear, but I can't speak.
He can't speak. He can hear. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see while he's getting his sound together and while I'm waiting for our guest to pop in. This month is actually multiple awareness month, and it's important for us to be able to connect with our
Can you hear me?
With what's going on in our world. Life is stressful and life is busy, and there's so many things going on. So there are certain things that we do have to be aware of. And so actually this month, last month was actually mental health awareness. This month is actually post-traumatic stress disorder awareness month. So making sure that if you have any a stress, which we all do, and if you've been through anything traumatic, you want to make sure you take care of that. A healthy mind and body is important for creating wealth. in our lives, even if it's just healthy wealth. But it's not just the body that we want to
Hello,
we want
hello,
to
hello,
support. We want to also support our mental status. This is
hello, hello,
also
hello,
Pride Month, so celebrating those that are a part of the LBGQTQ
hello, hello,
community. So, um,
hello,
um,
hello, hello,
celebration for them. And then this is
hello,
National
hello.
Migraine and Headache Awareness. So, seems like June must be a stressful month because there's a whole lot of stuff in it. And I think there's ocean awareness. So, there's a lot of stuff going on in June. Gilbert, we got it together yet? No?
No, we're still trying to figure it out.
So,
I
so
don't
anyway,
know.
and I don't guess it is a bit stressful because everyone is taking care of family. Kids are graduating from high school and college, and parents are pulling together themselves and their kids for whatever they're going to do with them over the summer. Last weekend we didn't do a live show last Friday. We ran a rewind run, and the reason why was because I was en route to Savannah, and I was going to my nephew's graduation, and he graduated with a BA degree from SCAD, which is Savannah College of Art and
Hmm.
Design, and so he has his degree now in fine arts with a focus
Hello,
on
hello,
film,
hello, hello,
um, filmmaking and directing, and
hello.
as well as editing and graphic designs and video design, so videography. So that's what he was. It was a
Nada.
huge class, and that was my first time in Savannah, Georgia.
866.
A pretty place. It's in the south in Georgia, kind of south. I think it's near the water, so it's kind of south west east, I guess, because it's on the water or on a river, and so that was pretty interesting. And then we flew into Charleston, my first time in South Carolina, and so we were in Charleston and we got to see a plantation there, and so that was pretty interesting as
Hello,
well.
hello,
And
hello,
we spent a couple hours there. So that
hello.
was where I was last week. So congratulations to my nephew, Mr. Trenton E. Graham. And now both of my nephews have graduated from college, and I'm so proud of them. I don't know, Gilbert, what we gonna do?
I don't know. I don't know what's
Well,
going
one of the
on.
things we're gonna do, Andre is here, and I think we're waiting for Denise, and so
How about
they
now?
can
Can you
come
hear
on
me? Can you hear
shortly
me now? Can you hear me now?
and talk about
Can you hear
honor
me
thy
now?
father. Um, I
Hello,
haven't
hello,
had a father in my life in a long time. He
hello,
passed away a long, long time ago.
hello,
So
hello.
Father's Day is not necessarily a day that I have been celebrating in many, many years,
Oh man.
unlike Mother's Day.
I
But
don't
I
know what's
do
going
honor all of my male friends and my relatives that are fathers. And so it's interesting. Father's Day, that as much emphasis is not put on Father's Day as it is on Mother's Day. So we want to make sure we celebrate. So you think it's the headphones or
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm wondering. Let me see. Let me see if it's the headphone or
see
the
what happens if
speaker.
you take them out?
Huh? I did. I did take him out. Can you hear me now? No? Can you hear me? Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Wow. I don't know. You come off and come back in. And once you want to
Eh.
come back in and try the code again.
Oh, all right. Let me do that.
Or do you have a lot of files open on your computer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Close those down.
All right. Okay. Let's
That
see.
sometimes that affects the sound if you got a lot of files on your computer open. Okay. So I am going to bring, I don't know, Andre, are you there or are you waiting for Denise? Can you see me? Okay. So while Gilbert was working on that part, so while we were in Georgia, in the South, we flew American Airlines. And I don't know if any of you've been out flying lately, but flying is definitely far more stressful than it used to be. I don't know, 10 years ago. And so American Airlines was going through an interesting, they claimed it was on weather. Oh, okay. Try Gilbert now.
Okay, let me try it.
Okay, you're here. I hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Dang. So I've been going through this stuff for all this time. So I just had to close some files?
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy.
Okay. And how are you?
We're back together.
Yeah, you know, all you people with open files, like your whole entire month that you've been working is all open on a computer.
Hey, I had like 15 files open on this thing.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Oh man, I'm learning so much about this connectivity stuff, man. So how are you doing, my calls? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, huh? Andre is laughing at you. He's in the green room laughing at you.
Andre's laughing because he's been there before, right, Andre? He knows it, man. You got all these files open up, and it's like, wow, man, it disables you.
Yeah, all those files will disable you. So, and then what happens is some of those files are going through updates, and so if they've been open for a month, then they're no longer connecting properly anyway. And so there you have it, Gilbert. So got to close your files down. Can't have a whole bunch of them open.
I'm learning every day. So, co-host, so you went on a trip, and coming back, the customer service people did you dirty.
Yeah, American Air. You know what? I remember when flying was like you'd be all excited, get all dressed up. I'm going on a trip, right? It's gonna be great, right?
Yeah.
Woo. Flying has become the most stressful way of transportation. I think it's more stressful than driving on a 405. To be quite honest.
I know.
It is something else. Oh my God. It was pretty intense. And it's not that. And we're gonna have to do a show because this is my pet peeve about business. And if any of you, all of you that are in business, to me, besides making money, but the only way to avenue to making money when you have a business is to have supreme customer service. That's what I think.
That is true.
And so some of the frustration, I believe, for me anyway, is that the customer service is just, I don't know, there's no other better word for it, piss poor when it comes to the airlines. It's like they're doing you a favor for flying on their airlines. It's like they gave it to you for free. Now I get it if you don't get great customer service, if it's free service, but there was no non-rev. I paid full premium price. I upgraded my seats. I was courteous to a point, but when it started, I was courteous to all of the flight attendants. So I expect some customer service, and I don't know what the heck you get nowadays.
I think I know what happened there, co-host. You didn't give them a tip. That's why.
Oh, now you got to tip them.
You have to give them a tip. Or they'll lose your luggage and tell you all kinds of crazy things.
Oh my God. They basically told us that we could not get, and I don't know, anybody out there in listening land, no hotel vouchers, so you have to sleep in the airport, no food vouchers, and then of course it's in the middle of the night, so there's no place to eat, and the chairs in the airport is not designed for sleeping more than 2 hours before you get to your next flight. It was just brutal, and they didn't care whether you had a newborn baby, you're a mom with a newborn baby, or you're an old person dragging your leg down the needing a wheelchair everywhere you go in the airport. There was no status that had priority.
I think there is a written rule that not too many people know about, that they should have to give you up to $1,000 for your inconvenience. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't know that rule.
Well, actually, the Department of so I'm going to put them on blast now. The Department of Transportation, wasn't it Pete Buttigieg and Biden and Kamala Harris actually had a ruling and legislation that was created in April. I think it was like April 25th, and it says that passengers will be entitled to a refund if a flight is canceled or significantly changed and they do not accept acceptable transportation or travel credits.
Yeah.
And this should be, you shouldn't have to go through any hoops whatsoever.
Right.
Well, that was not the case this past weekend.
I think you should invoke that rule, though, because they owe you money, man. They owe you money, because think about it. They're not going to let you fly on their plane for free or at a discount. So you gotta get them to pay you your money.
Yeah. So I got a letter. I have a letter ready to go. In fact, with my family, we were all together, and each one of us, it was just drama. There were 200 people on our flight going in different directions on different flights, on the same airlines, but going in different directions, and all 200 passengers were canceled. And I had heard that earlier that day, additional 200 passengers were canceled, which means now there are no hotels by the time we got there.
See, what you're gonna have to do, co-host, just have your attorney craft that letter and send it to them.
Yeah,
that will scare the bejesus out of them.
Right. So it was.
If you send it by yourself, you're just Mary Public. You know, they're gonna go, hey, this is Mary Public. We don't even need to respond to her. But if it's coming from an attorney, they're gonna get some little quickness in their steps, man, to compensate you.
Right. And then what I heard was because, now get this, Gilbert. The flight attendants or the staff, the crew, they have not had, they make about $21,000 a year.
What?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And so, and the CEO makes about 1,100% more than they do. So they're making about $250,000 a year with stock options and so forth. In addition, stock options. And here these little flight attendants are making whatever the federal minimum wage is. So if the federal minimum wage is $8, that's what they're making.
That's crazy.
Isn't that poverty level?
That's great. Yeah, it's more. That's why they don't care. They're going, please, I'm not making enough to accommodate you.
So that's what was going on. The flight attendants, their contract was coming up, and they were quietly demonstrating and boycotting. And so therefore, those of us that were passengers got the blunt of that. So too deep. So how was your week?
Oh man,
before we get ready,
my week was good. I had a court case that was victorious, and that was good. You know, as a small business, I did some reports for my client, my Texas client.
Okay.
who's still not following the rules.
Your favorite client?
My favorite client. Still not following the rules. So, you know, I did some reports for them, and you know, so we'll see what happens. I sent them my invoice, so let's see how long it takes them to pay. Man, these guys, man, I'm telling you, in Texas, they don't follow any rules at all, man. You know your invoicing rule, you send them your invoice and you say, hey, this is due in 10 days or 14 days. I say, please, whatever. We'll pay you like 31 days or 32 days. And you better be happy with that. They don't care. They don't care at all, man. And they cuss out Californians all the time. Hey, you entitled bunch of people. You think the world revolves around you? We're not gonna follow any what they call that, the green technology footprint and cyberspace. We're not gonna do any of that, man. They're burning the buildings, the factories that they're using there, man. They've got the the debris or whatever they're burning. They're just polluting the atmosphere with that, and
Wow.
there's no laws that contains that. They just all free willy-nilly to do whatever they want to do. Here in California, you got to follow environmental laws and clean air laws. They don't do that.
Well,
That's why you see
we
so
have
many. Go ahead.
California, they in the HR world, they call it the Republic of California.
Really?
Have you
That's what they call it.
which means that California supersedes any federal laws that are out there when it comes to caring for its employees. So I assume that must mean the same thing for the environment or any
Oh yeah.
governmental kind of anything. California
Oh yeah.
supersedes those.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. For sure. I'm telling you, man, this is just unbelievable, man. So I just, go along because the more they disobey my rules and my compliance guidelines, is the more I get paid, because they make me redo stuff. They gotta pay me. they make things late. My payments late. They gotta pay me. So they can do whatever they want to do. Man. I'm getting paid.
You okay with that?
I'm okay with that. It's a little delayed, but I'm okay with that because I'm getting my money.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes I'm kind of, well, Dallas's hub, the American Airlines, which is the airlines I was having a problem with, is in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, operating on their own
Yeah. It doesn't
own
even make
agenda.
sense fighting with them, man. It doesn't make sense fighting with them at all. So what you do is just hit them in the pocketbook, man. Just pay me my money.
Pay you your money.
That's right.
All right. If Andre is there, we're gonna let him come on real quick and give us a little. He's gonna talk to us about Honor Thy Father event that's coming up.
Yeah.
Andrew, are you there? So I'm gonna let you in a minute, but I need to make sure that you're there. And he and Denise Estelle, they haven't come on as of yet. But we're gonna talk today about exit strategy and how important that is to have an exit strategy in place in your business. How many people do you run across, Gilbert, that actually has an exit strategy?
0.1%. 0.1%. They usually don't have one, and if they do have one, it's one or two clients. But the rest of them, some of them don't know what it is. Some of them don't care about what it is. Some of them don't see the value of it. So we're probably gonna have to provide some education today as to why having an exit strategy is beneficial to your business. I mean, if I'm buying a business from someone and they have an exit strategy, that would excite me a lot because it tells me they put some planning into that operation. So I know I'm going to see some good things in that strategy, some attractive things, maybe not all, but some. And that alone will help me to see where their head is at, where they're going, that type of thing.
And I've seen them. I've seen exit strategies for companies that are in the tech industry because I think that they kind of get that concept right. That if their business is attractive enough, they're looking for someone to buy their business before they even get it up and running and doing. The end goal is we're going to make this company attractive enough for someone to want to buy my company.
Right, to want to buy, because if I'm asking a certain price, then I want that price to be paid. But if the person is nowhere close to where you were at, and they don't even have an exit strategy. Like, how do they substantiate that price? You know.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about that, what that looks like, and Gilbert has some details on that. I don't think did you send me something? I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did send it to you, but I could send it again. I'll send it again.
Okay. Well, actually,
so while we get our next guest in here, you know, I could go ahead and send you and.
I got it. I see it. All right, okay. Andre and Denise, I am going to bring you guys on. So hope you're ready.
I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready.
I am here. I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah,
yes, I'm here. And before we
can't see you guys though.
I know.
Before we start, can I just say this? I sympathize with what you went through, Crystal. I know that Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, that hub. It is like a huge work. So I just want to say I can relate. I knew that's the hub you were at. And I want to say Gilbert,
I appreciate you, Andrew.
Oh man. And Gilbert, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, brother.
I don't hear that happening enough. And I'm glad to hear it. And I wanted to say I really enjoyed y'all's conversation. I wanted to say this, Crystal, that I too was surprised just about a year or so ago going through Savannah, Georgia, and going through Charleston, South Carolina. I took the low country route, the Highway 17 that took me from Jacksonville up the Gullah Geechee coast.
Wow.
So I saw all up in all those little towns, and it was truly eye-opening to see. You could just feel the antebellum kind of.
Oh my gosh, could you?
The little horse buggies and carriages and the museums and the antiques. I'm like, wow, this is a step back into the past. But, glad things have changed. I went to the Slave Museum too in Charleston, and also there was a town called Olatunji Village between Savannah, which is a Yoruba town, a Yoruba complex that was really fascinating. Yes, they go back to their traditions and they have a king and a priest and their system and their court. That's just really fantastic.
Wow, I wish I'd have known. I should have talked to you because we actually flew into Charleston, and then we drove from Charleston to Savannah. And then on our way back to the airport, same thing. We did the reverse of that, and we had about 9 hours to kill. We drove up. But we were heading to a plantation that was in Charleston, and so you do feel it, man. I mean, when you walk down on the river riverboat, oh my God, it's like okay. You could in Charleston actually was the largest port for slaves being brought shipped in. Right. That was the largest port. And so when we got there, we're like, but you can't, it's amazing. You can feel the whole, you can hear in your ears, in your head, you can hear the cobblestones of the wheels on the
wooden wheels on the buggies, and that used to tell us at the slave market at the slave museum. Hope you have a chance to go there. Yes,
you can see that. You can hear the chains clacking. It is eerie, man.
It is eerie. That's right. And then I was thinking, in some of the swampland, how can you get away from this? I mean, it's all swampland with mosquitoes and snakes and alligators and critters, but daring people sure did try. So
Andre, when I see plantation houses and I see those swamplands down there, all I can do is get flashbacks, man, because I can just imagine what it was like back then. They don't like a slave because he's rebelling. Because see, I'm pretty in your face. I'm rebellious, right? So I can see myself as a slave back then. I'll be fighting Massa, man, and say, "Hey, get the hell out of here, Massa! What are you talking about?" And then they'd probably try to kill me and bury me in those swamps.
You never know.
When we went to the plantation, I think it's called Marlboro. I think that's what it was, Marlboro, and it was one of the largest ones. Beautiful garden, but it was like you said, it was all swamp, right? So rice is, because I'm driving, when I was in Jackson, Tennessee, you're driving, you seeing corn and all this, harvest, crops, right?
Yeah.
Thinking, well, wait, what's their crop here? Because I'm not seeing, everything is swamped, everything is water. And so when we went to that plantation, and I thought, well, the only thing they could possibly growing is rice, and that's what they do. It's called the South Carolina gold rice, right? And then when you were on the plantation and we were taking the tour, and we're literally seeing alligators laying up on the shorelines, and down in that murky water, there's a water moccasin and everything that was poison. And you're going, oh my God. So when we got on the tour, that's exactly right. They a slave working in a South Carolina plantation. They were all doing rice, and their life expectancy was no more than 6 years. And generally it's because they were it was alligators,
elements,
alligators or
snakes.
or snakes. That's really what would kill them.
Unbelievable, man.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I enjoyed you all just bringing those thoughts. While we were waiting for Denise Estelle, I don't want to take her thunder, but thank you for introducing. Thank you for allowing us time to go over this, and I'm truly appreciative of it. I'll have Denise. She's the founder CEO. I think she goes without an introduction. I think you all know her. And she can say a few things about herself in the background and honor thy father. We know you're on a time schedule, so we just appreciate the few minutes you're giving us.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome, Denise.
Yes, thank you. Oh my God.
Denise, you seem so humble, man. You got that humble look on your face.
Oh, I have a humble look.
Yes.
I am just in such gratitude. I'll start out by saying this. When you are moving forward towards something great,
yes,
generally there's blocks.
Yes.
And I have been navigating, segueing. Oh my God, I was tearful this morning. My website wasn't accepting tickets for people to come to my website and get tickets.
Oh man.
And that sent me into a tizzy. I called my bank. They said it takes 3 days to process the paperwork.
What?
And I was like, whoa, my goodness, and another, 10 days, 7 days or whatever. But anyway, it's been like a plethora of different pop-ups. And I've been like, this, of all the times in doing Honor Thy Father, I think this is the most challenging.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the most challenging. And I'll say this, the blocks have been really, really big. Car accident, I lost my voice.
Wow.
Oh my God, it was one thing after another. So saying all that to say this block is crumbling right now. And this is going to be the greatest Honor Thy Father ever.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Honor Their Father and what inspired you to launch it, and how long you've been doing it. First of all, let's address that one. How long have you been doing your Honor Their Father event?
This is going into the 22nd year of honoring fathers. Now, I'll qualify that by saying we had the pandemic. And then we had it when we were able to be out and about again. We had it in Leimert Park, where we honored the fathers at Juneteenth on stage in Leimert Park. But this is our first time being back at a sit-down dinner, which is what Honor Thy Father is all about. A sit-down awards dinner where families are congregating and eating together and talking and laughing together and just enjoying the celebration of family together. So, okay, so Crystal, you asked me how I came up with this Honor Thy Father.
Yeah, what was the inspiration behind Honor Thy Father?
Okay, so the seed was planted. I'll make this really quick. The seed was planted when I was a little girl. I came from a single parent household. Me, my mom, and my sister. My little sister had a father that came to visit her every other weekend. Now, when he'd pick her up, she was daddy's little girl. he'd bring her back with toys and clothes. And I would look at her. I'm a couple of years older than her. I would look at her and I couldn't articulate it. But every time her dad picked her up and every time her dad brought her home, I felt as if a part of me was being chiseled. And the reason why is because I didn't have a father picking me up.
Yeah.
I didn't have a dad picking me up, calling me daddy's little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And this went on year after year. And so one day, I guess I was around maybe 8 or 9 years old. This man comes to the door in a uniform. I'd never seen a man in a uniform. I got really excited. He wanted to speak to my mother. I went and got my mother. He wanted to talk to her privately. They spoke privately, and I was sitting in another room playing with my dolls. And then he leaves. He doesn't even look at me. He just leaves, and my mother looks at me as he exits the door, and she said, "Baby, that's your daddy."
No.
That's the only image I have of my father.
No.
Not even looking at me.
Oh, wow.
And then subsequently, maybe 2 to 3 weeks after that, my sister's father came to pick her up again.
Right.
But this time he spent an extended amount of time with my mother. Ordinarily, he'd just pick up my sister and leave. But he was talking to my mom. I'm sitting on the floor playing with my dolls. And my mother comes in the room and she says, "Denise, would you like to go with Brenda and Charles?" Brenda is my sister, and her dad's name was Charles. My mother had never, ever said that to me. Asked me, would I like to go with Brenda and Charles? I said, yes, I want to go. My mother put my clothes in a paper bag. I went with my sister and her father. Oh my God, her father's family treated me like family. They treated me like I was one of theirs.
I know the feeling.
And
wow.
Such a beautiful feeling, just having somebody, that looked at me in a certain way, in a loving and kind way. And so when he brought me home, I was like my sister. He bought me clothes and toys.
And you were happy.
I was happy. And when he came to pick up my sister 2 weeks later, he picked me up again. Wow. Little did I know, when my mom came in the room and asked me if I wanted to go with Charles and Brenda, my sister and her dad, little did I know that was the day that my sister's father became my father.
See, I was going to say that earlier, but I wanted to hear your story first, because remember when your dad walked out and didn't even look at you? I'm thinking in my mind, maybe your mom told him that your sister's dad is now going to be resident there in the home and he's going to take on that responsibility as a dad. He probably didn't want to hear that. So that's why he walked away and didn't even look at you. You see what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking when I heard that story. You can tell me if I was right or wrong.
Well, the reality is I don't know. I just know that he left, and that was the only image that I have of my dad, him walking out and not paying me any attention. And saying that to say it was my sister's father that gave me the vision and the feeling of what it feels like to have a real father. And so as I got older and looking at fathers on the street with their children, I would want to hug them and thank them for being good fathers. But you can't run up to guys and
strangers.
You can't do that. So that was the birth of Honor Thy Father.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story. Did you put that on your website?
No.
Because you should put that as a backstory on your website. Because every business, every organization has a story. That's your story right there.
Yes,
and that's a German. I'm telling you, the things you're saying right now is bringing tears to my eyes. I'm telling you, because I can resonate with that.
And interesting, and Fernando says, bless you for sharing this, because a lot of times we think that the mother is the primary entity in a child's life, but most children, if they're missing mom or dad is a big void in their lives. And it would be very difficult for a child to comprehend why my sister can go with her dad. Where's my dad? Right.
Yeah.
And normally, I mean, I've had friends that are taking care of their kids and or married a woman that have one of my friends, and it generally is she comes as a package. You know, if she's coming, you got to take me and my kids, and you have to treat my children just like our children. And if you're going to be part of our lives, so because it can leave a real major impact on a child.
Oh yeah.
Because you take it personally. You don't know. You're too young to be able to say, that it has something to do with mom and dad. But what about me? It's me.
Right. So with that being said, when he bring her home and pick her up, I just felt like parts of me was being chiseled, like I was nobody, like I had no value.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a father, it fortifies you. If you have a healthy father in a loving relationship with his wife, your mother, that fortifies you. When you go out in public, you don't care what people say. You know who you are. You got your parents. You're fortified.
Because the dad is the protector and the provider in the home.
That's right.
And the mom is the nurturer. So when you have both of those together, you're balanced. You see what I'm saying?
There you go. That's it right there. That's it.
Yeah. So that's what every little boy and every little girl, they dream about, you know? And when that's missing, then a big part of you just feel empty, like you don't have anything.
Yes.
And may I chime in here?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, because I just the same demeanor, Gilbert, that you said she has. She's very humble. She wouldn't say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. She's been doing this from her own enthusiasm and her own resources, personal resources. We don't have sponsors. We don't have a major sponsor. We have the South Los Angeles Chamber as our one sponsor. They don't have deep pockets to give her with this effort.
Yeah.
And, it's these wonderful things that are moral and ethical. Sometimes we have to make a justification for people to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe we needed to start earlier, but we and I take responsibility for some of that. But some of it is that it's not a very easy sell to try to destroy stereotypes and images that are out there against the Black man's image. And we want to shine a light on fathers and mentors and unsung heroes, people, just regular folks to come home and take care of their children every day. They do it not because somebody tells them to, they've been trained to, they do it because of love, and that's what they want to do, stand up and be a man of the household, of the family, at the workplace, in the neighborhood, in the community. All of these men we've been giving honor and recognition to for the past 22 years. So if there is a plea or a statement, I'd like to say this, that if there are any listeners out there that view this as a valuable thing that we're doing for the community, please give Denise a call. The Father's Day event is going to be occurring on Sunday, June the 16th. The red carpet is from 2 until 3. The actual awards dinners are from 3 until about 4 or 5, right, Denise?
Yeah, 3 to 5.
Where is this going to be? Where is this going to be held?
The Hilton Culver City.
Oh, okay.
Hilton Culver City.
And it's a Sunday?
It is on a Sunday.
And what time is it?
The red carpet starts at 2. The dinner program starts at 3.
And how much are the tickets?
The tickets are $100 for adults and $65 for children.
Okay.
And that's because the prices have just, well, y'all know.
Yeah, no, I know they went up and everything after COVID.
Yeah.
It is. Thank you so much. And Fernando says that that makes you do what you do even more awesome. And it's so important. You always see children with their mom, so that's just a given, right? But for me, it really warms my heart when I see a father walking with their daughter or their son at a sporting event. I do a tennis program, and a lot of the kids with the sport, their dads are the one that's bringing them and hanging out and just so thrilled with their children. And it warms your heart when you see that. because it is very, very important. So thank you, Denise, for doing what you do. And how do you select the dads? Is it just a kind of is there a process that you go through? So, and then next year, for those of you that want to honor your father, how do you get your dad there to honor him?
You just reach out to us and say you want to honor your dad and why you want to honor your dad. And that's it. I mean, if you have a worthy father, then by all means honor him. We can accommodate up to 15 fathers, and we still have space for a couple of more. We still have.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal, Denise. I would have usually wanted to go to that event, but I know if I do, I'm gonna break down. So I'm serious. So I'll send you the money, but I won't go.
Okay, so in other words, you sponsor someone?
I'll buy a ticket to attend, right? You said it's $100.
Yes.
I'll send you the $100, but I can't go because I'm gonna be like a little baby. I'm gonna be crying like crazy. So, just tell me how to do it, and I'll send the money to you. Okay.
So he's gonna sponsor someone to come.
I know I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be crying. So
most people are. Yes. That's out of dry eye in the house when she goes through. We can honor people posthumously as well, and incarcerated fathers. And Denise has been very creative in her approach of accepting everyone who's shown to give everyone dignity and respect. And you're right. There are many of us that break down and cry. She has don't have time about how it's changed and impact families, and before, during, and after these awards, it's just really changed people, men's lives, and their responsibility to their homes and families and communities. It's been a great inspiration.
Even the story that Denise just told me, man, I'm telling you, it's tearing me up.
and you know why? Sad. You know why is because every last one of us have that story, right? Yeah. It may not have been to the, it may have been a little different scenario than Denise's. I know with my family, I never met my birth father, but I had a stepfather, but he treated his children different than he treated me. Thank God for my mother, so it didn't really warp me, but it could have warped me. So I think everyone, if you had the privilege, and I do have girlfriends that had the privilege to have both their mother and father for their entire lives, and you just think about wow, what if that is? So I think we put ourselves in those shoes. And that's why it really, really, especially if we were raised by a single parent. I did have the benefit of having godparents, and my godfather was really, really involved in my life, and then uncles and so forth. So sometimes it's just that surrogate parent is very important as well. But children need to know that they're loved, and they need not to feel that they're abandoned. And so I get that. And so, so everyone go to Denise's website. And Denise, is that where they buy their ticket?
Well, actually, that was one of my little breaks.
Oh, that's one of the glitches.
So what I'll do is I'll put my phone number. I think I could put my phone
number. Put it in the chat, and then we'll put it.
I'll do it.
Andre can put it in. And also, if I may, if I could take another minute to explain what this card is. Yes. Okay, so like you, Crystal, when you see fathers on the street with their children and their family, it just warms your heart. Mm-hmm. I created a card. It's a business-sized card that I give to fathers that I see with their children. I just hand them the card. The card is on black, and it has white writing, and it says, "You inspire us. We, our community, see you. Black, father, brother, man. We salute you. You are a man of integrity. You are respected. You show strength. You are royal. You are giving and kind. You are self-aware. You are exemplary." I didn't say that right. You are resilient. You are powerful. And then on the other side of the card, I have, as you move throughout this day, know that you radiate hope for our children and our children's children for a brighter tomorrow.
Awesome.
And I hand them the card that has a Stell for Humanity, and it has our phone number on it. But I give it to the dad, and I just let him read it, and they'll look at me and smile, or they'll give me the prayer sign. But I got 1,000 of them to pass out whenever I see a father with his children. That's
beautiful.
And it's small enough that they can put it in their wallet, and they can reflect on it and know that they are role models for our young men that with the saggy pants and what have you.
Yes.
So
awesome.
I really applaud what you're doing, Denise. You and Andre, man. This is just phenomenal because not too many people do that. You know, all they're doing is, you know, ripping down the black father, the black man, saying, you know, how he's trash, he's dusty, and all of that, instead of embracing him. Because some of the times, you know, the fathers leave the home not because they want to leave, it's because they were driven out, you know. And I was watching a video the other day which shows, and I heard this black man, he was about 95. So back in his day, he was there, you know, it was there in the 60s and late 50s, where the government would come in and encourage the mothers to kick the man out of the house, and they would give them like an extra $50 a week or a month. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So the government is a part of that travesty as well. So, you know, many of the men who got driven from the home is not because they wanted to leave, it's because, you know, those things happen. So I feel it for many of them, because what really happened, the ones who really suffer in this are the kids.
The children.
The kids, just like with you back in the day, you know, and then you're looking at your sister and you're looking at your neighbors' kids and see how they're embracing their dad. That's why when we used to watch those television shows, remember those television shows, the Brady Bunch and all that crap that we used to watch? You know, the fathers are always there and the mothers are there. And, you know, we feel so left out and alone because we didn't have that. We didn't have the fathers there. We only have the mom. And we're wondering what's wrong with her dad, you know, not knowing what really that the government is behind this.
Right.
Thank you.
Well,
I want to announce the number for those who may not have access to the chat. It's 310-507-1999. That's 310-507-1999. And her website is www.honorthyfather.awards with an S.
My co-host is typing it down. So
yeah, I'm typing it in. So awards.com. All righty. So you guys go over there and check it out. I just posted your flyer on my Instagram page and on my Facebook pages. And after I'm off, I'll put it on my LinkedIn. Oh my God. And Denise, I know you're crazy busy right now, but I'd love to get some of those cards. I have I see parents every week at my tennis program at Harvard Park. And I'd love to be able to have some of those cards to hand out to our fathers. So because, you know, tennis is a sport. So please do get that to me, because I think that's amazing. As I said, you know, last night I went to see the Rick James musical. Not knowing a whole lot about Rick James. Well, I knew I liked him, but I didn't know there was a whole backstory to him. But I do know there were a lot of demons, and a lot of those demons came from the fact that there was no father around. The father left when he was very young, and his mother was incredible, but it just, you could tell that void. He needed to have had a father in his life to help ground him. It was like he was always in search of something, and he was restless. And so therefore, even though he was an incredible, a talented musician, he had some major demons that drove him to drugs and just a destructive life. And it wasn't, I think, until he was much older that he even could be a decent, somewhat decent parent to his daughter. But his daughter was there last night, It was the opening night last night. And so what you're doing is admirable. And thank you very much. And I know, we do some selfless things out here, man, for our community, and all of us, I think, are, especially those of us that are in the nonprofit world, boy, we go beyond and beyond and beyond to make this a better place for our community. And a lot of it is through the sacrifice of our own means. And so thank you, Denise. And Andre, I know you do a lot. So thank you for that. So it's really happening during June, a few days before Juneteenth, right?
Yes, on Father's Day, June the 16th.
Okay. All right. So you guys.
Can I share some quick statistic that is very important that you guys probably know, but I also want the general public to know this. So Crystal was talking about Rick James and his upbringing and his situation that he was in before he passed, right? And you talked about your situation. Now, there's research that's been done that states that 70% of delinquents in society, people who end up in jail, prison, killers, school shooters, 70% of those are from single parent homes. 70%, because there's no dad there in the home. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So that is a very important number for us to know, and an incentive for us to keep the dads in the home, because the dads, they're the disciplinarian, they're the ones who show the daughter the first love that they should have, that
right.
What loving a man is about, that hey, you've got this image, you've got this character, you've got all of this. This is what you look for in men. The mom is the one who provides that first love for their sons, that says, hey, this is what a woman should be for you. This is what they should provide, all of those types of things. So as a result of that, and the dad not being in the home, we end up with a lot of folks in prison on drugs or doing evil things in society. So I just want to let the audience know that having your dad in the home is very, very important to a kid. Even when the kid is over 20, still good.
Yes.
So right. I just wanted to put that out there, because what Crystal was saying ties right into that statistic.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. And so we'll promote as well for you.
Before you go though, tell me how I can get my $100 to you.
Oh, you can call me. You could I actually put my personal phone number in the chat. And you can call me directly, and I have a credit card. I could accept your credit card.
So is it that 8339 number? Is that the number? Okay. So yeah, I'll call you, because like I say, I can identify with your story, and I'm willing to, instead of buy a ticket and attend, I'll just buy the ticket and I stay on the background and watch it on TV or something.
and we will credit you too, Gilbert, and announce your name, so you're an integral part of our success.
I appreciate that. And here's the deal. Whenever you guys want to come back on this show to talk about your program, feel free, man, because Crystal and she just told you guys a little bit about it. We haven't told you, what we really do to help kids and help community. And, we do those things. We help people. And we don't look for anything in return. We just do it because it's our duty to community. So, yes. So I'll call you and get my money to you. I've never been this anxious to get rid of $100.
Well, that's because that story was something that was very inspirational, and as I said, if we didn't have our dad in our family, we can all relate to that. So, kudos to you, Estelle, for establishing it, and I know it brings peace to your soul, and honoring to the father, to the man that wasn't your biological father, but he stepped in to provide you what you needed as a father. And so to all of the men out there, that even though you were not the biological, but you treat that child just like he or she were your own. Kudos to you as well, because that says a lot when someone that sees that a child has a need and they need to be, and they can step up to the plate. It's not hard. It's actually harder to me, in my opinion, to be harder to ignore something like that than it is to actually respond and stand up for whoever that man was. He maybe whatever the reason he couldn't be there, somebody else could stand in his place. So thank you for that, for what you've done, because a lot of us didn't have that. Some people
Crystal,
just take the,
we never did find out the role that Andre plays in this. Can you tell us real quickly?
I think Andre is supporting her. Is he part of Andre's father, or Andre? What do you?
Does our pretty much our promotional work.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. Fernando says, "Good job, Sister Estelle." You keep doing what you do, and if you guys want to pop in on Thursday for the community briefing, you can pop in, and at the tail end of it, I'll make sure Greg and Steve Turner give you a few minutes at the end if you want to do that, because that's a crowd, and that was actually a Zoom call, so everybody is, and most of the people so you can come by then as well. I'll make Andre, you get the flyers, don't you?
I do, and I'll try to be as regular on Thursdays as possible. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you guys are around on Thursday at 11 o'clock, or pop in before we come off the air by 12. I can't remember who's going to be on the show that day, but in fact, the last couple of weeks we've had men that are actually hosting. I think the last man, Jewel Love, has a men's executive network. So I think we have a male next week as well. So thank you guys.
Estelle, you did to me.
Denise.
What? Oh, I mean Denise. I'm sorry. Denise, you did to me that only my mom could have done to me. You made me cry. You brought tears to my eyes. So I just want to let you know that you did something that nobody, not even Crystal, made me cry.
Well, I don't be trying to make you cry, man.
So I just want you to know that, Denise, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much again. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome, Denise.
Okay.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Andre.
We got the tough guy. He actually started to shed some tears, man. Mr. Tough Guy.
She made a tough guy brought a tear to my eye.
That's pretty good.
You ever seen In Living Color with Homie the Clown? He said, "Man, you make a clown got all misty eyed and she."
I mean, that hit you hard, right?
Yeah,
I was at when I was at Rick James last night, it was a lady sitting next to me, and Rick was doing his Rick thing, and then his mother, who had been in his corner the whole entire time.
Right.
Now it's a play, right?
Yeah.
And she's coughing because she's getting ready to take her last breath, and this lady just started bawling.
Dang, because she started putting herself in that space. You see what I'm saying?
I was like, oh no, the lady bawling.
I'm telling you, man, it's
yeah, boy. You know the parent thing, we don't even know. One, like I said, your mom, and people who don't have their mothers there go through a whole lot, but no one knows the full impact of what it is not to have a father in their lives. And no matter how stern he may be or whatever it is, but it still is there's two parts to you, right? When there's contributions from your mom, contributions for your dad, And so as an adult, I think you feel it more there as from a child.
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, wow, who's this other man over here
Right.
that I don't know? And like I said, I never met my biological father. But I have found them on, not him, he's no longer with us. But when I finally decided I wanted to meet him, he actually had died like 3 months before I talked to my mom on how could we make that happen, and it didn't happen that way. So,
Man,
but my
that's
uncle
sad.
was a good friend of his, so I was able to have some conversation, but still it's not the same.
Yeah, it's
So I
not the
totally
same.
get it. And so fathers out there, please, if you have children, go see them. Whatever is going on between you and the mom have absolutely nothing to do
with the child.
with your child. When
Yeah.
you divorce the mom or leave the mom, you cannot divorce something that came of you. So please, to heal our children, they need to know that both their parents love them. And sometimes the circumstances are just crazy, but
Yeah.
that does not mean that the kids have to pay for that. So please,
Right.
go out there, go see your kids. It's very, very important. And moms, I got to say this to you too. Whatever the differences are, get it out the way so the kids can see their father. It has absolutely nothing to do to them. So do not use that as a bargaining chip to keep your children from their father, especially if he wants to be the. Yeah, that's selfish. So there we go. Because both sides, and there is no innocence on either side. So mom, you got to make sure you allow the children into their father's life. Unless, of course, is in danger, they're in danger. And even then, go find someone in your family that can be a father figure for your child. The child needs that. So there you have it. So let's talk a little bit before we get off the air here.
Yes.
Exit strategies and successions for planning your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you want to cover the first? Because there are 12 questions to consider. Do you want to go through those 12 questions first?
Yeah.
And then. Okay.
So let's outline. We can go through 12. I'll just do the outline real quick. So here's the deal, guys. An exit strategy is a plan that outlines how a business owner plans on transitioning or exiting the business or marketplace from owning and running the daily operations of a business to selling, merging, handing down the investment that he or she has created, called a business. Exit strategies help us gives the out to a business owner if they want to sell or they want to close or pass on the business. And I will say this, if we have worked very hard, and I know from my coaching sessions how hard businesses struggle in the beginning to establish a business, to fund a business, to run a business every single day, that when you've been in business past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you want to have an exit strategy. Because why? You've put all that time and energy and expense and investment into this business. So you truly want the business to continue past you, because it's really a legacy of yours. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say.
Which is true. I mean, it's amazing, man. It's amazing how many or little of us know about those types of things, or how little of us really care about those types of things. They just get into business and think, okay, that's it. That's why there's a business cycle. There's a business cycle in every business, and it's usually 5 stages. So, the last stage is the exit strategy, and the exit part of the business when you're exiting. Whether you're selling it, you're losing it, you're passing it down, someone acquiring it, someone forced you out of business, but that's usually the last stage right there. So yes,
right, exactly. So that's why it's just too much. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, but that's very true. You want to make sure there's a plan, so that you don't just end up closing the doors after all that energy and time and commitment that you've made to this something that was your baby. Actually, at some point, it was a baby for you. And so you truly want to make sure that they're doing. So we want to go through kind of quickly through your sound. Is kind of weird, but I don't know what's happening to your sound.
How does it sound? Is it waving?
It's sounding, it's speeding up.
See, that's what's going on here, man. I guess maybe we should just cover just those 12 questions. Okay. And then maybe next week we can continue.
Next week we can follow on to that.
Yeah. So you want to do number 1, or do you want me to?
Yeah. So here before you. So one, you've been running your successful business for a number of years. We're going to assume you've been at least in business for a decade or two. And so you want to start asking yourself, and not like the day you about to sell the business, you want to start to look at your business today and ask yourself these questions. And these should be on the forefront of your mind. And so the very first one is, what is your annual income, revenue? So your business obviously has to be in a position that someone would see it being an attractive entity, right? Because if we're going to buy something, it has to have monetary value to it. So one is, what kind of annual income or revenue are you generating in the business? And is there potential for the new owner to increase or scale that business? So it may be something where you met your capacity already, and you don't know how to take it further than that. But if it does have a valuable asset or valuable proposition to it, then a new owner could potentially take it to the next level, or if you're passing it down to family members and so forth. And Gilbert, you can add on to that, but that's kind of my take on it.
And the reason you want to know what the annual revenue is that you currently are generating in the business is because if you're generating, say, $500,000 a year, you don't want to try to sell the business for $10 million, because nobody's going to take you seriously. They're going to go, oh, wait a second, you're only making $500,000 and you're trying to tell me you're selling this for $10 million? Prove to me that this business is worth $10 million. And chances are, the seller may not be able to prove that, because, if the business is going out of business because they're losing customers, they're losing market share, or they're losing anything to that effect, then that's not a good deal for the buyer. So you always want to know your revenue, so that can gauge your selling price, and also what you need to put in place to make the seller, the buyer, more attracted to your business. And number 2, what is your EBITDA? EBITDA, EBITA, right? What is EBITDA? That's an acronym, guys. And when you're in business, you got to know what EBITDA is. And EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization. I'm going to say it again. EBITDA, EBITA, means earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization in your business. So this is
basically the measure of the company's profitability that is used by investors. So they want to make sure that there is something there for them to buy if they're going to buy your business or merge their business with your business. There has to be some profitability there.
Exactly. Because no one is going to buy a business that's not profitable. Come on. It's like buying a house that is in shambles and it's a money pit. They're not going to buy that.
Right. Unless the land, the only way you do that if the land is more valuable than the structure on the land, and then the land can be, then you can build on that. But that at that point, that would be the EBITDA is the land has the value. The structure is not, but the
that land, right?
Well, yeah, like I say, oil, minerals, whatever. As long as the land got some value to it, man, then I was like, okay, I'll buy this. But if it's just got a rundown piece of shack of a house and that's what you selling, no, ain't nobody gonna be interested. Right. The next is your profit. Yes. So one's profit is the net of after you've subtracted out all of the expenses. for your business. That's the actual operating expenses, cost of goods, anything that it takes for you, the expenses, the cost structure of the business, right? And then, is it a profitable? Do you have a profitable profit margin or contribution margin? Making sure that there's money left over in the business that one can take care of the business, continue to take care of the business, and also take care of the new owner of the business. So nobody's going to buy your business if you in the red.
And especially if there was no profit last year, but there is some type of profit this year, it's going to make the buyer ask a lot of questions. So why wasn't there a profit last year? What happened? And is any of that burden carried over to this year? Because the buyer doesn't want to deal with any burden. Again, like I'm equating this to buying a house. You don't want to buy a house where it's going to need a roof. The roof is all shattered, or the windows are shattered. That's going to cost you extra money. So it's the same thing with your business. Make sure the profit is measurable. If you can say, yeah, last year we made 20% profit, and this year we were making 30%, and now there's an increase in that profit. So it looks like there's some level of profitability there.
Exactly. And now the next one is, how many employees do you have? Now, why is this question important? Because scalable businesses have employees. Individual businesses that's run solely by the founder and owner of the business, you can only reach a certain capacity just yourself. Employees help you grow and scale your business. It helps you, one, duplicating yourself, but also giving you definitely much more a better advantage to increase that profit and increase that annual revenue and increase that profitability, the EBITDA. So employees help you do that. So if it's just you, now it could be just you and you got a very valuable client list.
And the thing about that too, when you're looking at how many employees you have, the question that's going to be floating around in your head is, what am I going to do for these employees? I mean, I'm shutting down, or I'm getting rid of the business. They're going to be out of a job.
Right.
They were there with me since day one. The business is 15 or 20 years old, and they've been with me for 15 or 20 years. What am I going to do for them? So those are things you want to be asking yourself, because part of your negotiating strategy could be to talk to the new buyer to see if they'll take on these employees as their own, to help them continue to take care of their family. So all of those things are things that you want to keep in mind. Number 5.
Right. And I think also, depending on who the new buyer is, so a lot of times new buyers that come in that do acquisitions, a lot of times they're not taking on the employees, right? And sometimes doing mergers, sometimes they may take on not the managerial staff, because if they're merging it with their company, then they already have a management staff. So pretty much the management staff is not going to be a part of the acquisition. But the lower, your other employees that are not in those positions, if they're the ones helping produce the product, and they have the expertise, more likely they will keep them on. So it's very important how many employees you have. What are the right, what are their titles, and what does that look like in the broader thing? Because as a business owner, we're also concerned about hopefully we're concerned with the people that work for us as well. And the next one are their liens on the business. So this is important. How whole is the business, right? Because liens mean that the company could potentially have some severe debt. They could owe some money. Someone actually is suing them for whatever the reason that they're suing them. And what they've done is they've put liens against the business, meaning that if the business is ever sold, then that lien holder is first rights of whatever resources or whatever monies you're going to get for the sale of your business. They're going to get theirs off the top, right? And Is it right at the top or after all all expenses are paid?
Take that up front.
Right off the top.
My money now.
Okay.
Especially if they have a first position on the property.
Yeah.
Then everything else, get paid after them, but they get paid first.
Get paid after.
And the next,
so that would be. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the next thing is when it comes to lien, those liens can come from a court case, where somebody sued you and you lost in court, and now they attach a lien to that. Mortgage companies, they attach liens to your property, or let's say you got a PPP loan from the SBA. They're going to put a lien on that property because you didn't pay back. You didn't pay back that PPP.
Exactly.
So all those things are things to think about, guys, when you're thinking about exiting the business and selling it. So those are things to look at.
Okay. Next one is, how much debt do you have? So again, like that lien, the lien is legal suit set against you, but the debt is how much debt does your company have? Meaning, you have loans, extensive loans that are out, whereas the sale of that or those loans could be, a big deterrent for someone that's looking to buy your business, because they're not looking to buy a business that's operating in the red. Right. They're looking to buy a business that has the potential and a value proposition that makes it a worthwhile they're purchasing, the purchasing or the merging or the whatever. Now, of course, sometimes those things, and for those of you who are going to be passing your business down to your family and loved ones, don't pass down a business with debt, because now they just got a big headache, and eventually they're going to, So again, that's why it's so important for us to not, even in the very beginning of owning our business, we want to make sure if we have what the succession plan is at the end, then we will make different decisions at the beginning, during the middle, and then at the end. But you don't want a business that's saddled with so much debt that it will bring no value to the person that's going to inherit it or merge it or buy it.
A quick example of that is, if you think the business is worth $1 million, right? And let's say the business is bringing in $1 million, right? You're trying to sell it for, say, $2 million, right? And your debt is $900,000, then you're only getting $100,000 out of that company, because $900,000 is going towards debt. So $100,000 you've got left, and what kind of profit is that? So the buyer is going to say, we don't
Exactly. So next one is, what can the existing owner do to increase the value of the business in the interim prior to selling? Again, so if we are looking at that being our end result, then we want to make sure that one, we minimize our debt ratios. We understand our ROIs, our return on interest, our return on our ROS. We want to make sure that the business has value. You want to make sure that it has a strong value proposition, something that it is worth. The company is worth what it's saying it is worth, right? And I guess a good example was, and what the longevity is. So I don't know if let's say we use Twitter for example, right? Twitter really wasn't generating any revenue. And it, I think it had quite a bit of debt attached to it. So if you were really doing your due diligence, would that have been a great business to buy? I don't know if it would have been. And I think the owners were trying to sell it and they didn't have any buyers. So the person that did buy it had another agenda. But again, and then promptly upon purchasing it, it lost $19 million or something? Or $33 million or something like that. 19. So 19. Yeah. So those are the things you want to look at. What, not just the current, what does it look like for the new buyer? And what can you do to increase the value is to make sure whatever the product, the service, if it's a service business, the clientele, maybe you have some contracts with some entities that can increase the value of that, but you have to create a value proposition in the business. And when you go to evaluate the business, it has significant value to it. And Gilbert, you can add.
Yeah, I think what you just say, co-host, about adding contracts, that would be great, because if you can get some procurement contracts going with the government, then that will help to add value to the new buyer, who will say, oh, okay, at least I got 3 existing contracts, each one is about, say, 500,000. That's 1.5 mil being added in terms of revenues to the business right there. So that's a good thing. Next thing is, perhaps you may want to add a few streams of revenues to the business. Maybe you want to sell some merch, maybe you want to sell some other products or services, just to increase things and make it more attractive to the buyer.
Exactly. So, because you just want to make it attractive. It's like selling a house. If you're going to sell a house, you're going to clean it up. You can make it all sparkly
Change
on
the
the
windows,
outside, all sparkly and
fix up the kitchen.
You're going to make it. You clean up the kitchen, remove all the clutter, because because first of all, a new owner of a home is not going to be able to see it past the clutter, right? So that's going to that's going to pull back or diminish the value. If your house is the way your house looks when you live in it, your living look ain't gonna sell your house. You got to go with a clean, sharp, minimize look, so people can see themselves in the house. So the same thing with the business. You want to see the new owner in the business, and they can see it being profitable. So that's one of the things. Do you have an attorney? And we, as Gilbert and I, as coaches, we talk about this all the time. Everyone needs to have a team working with them. So your team is your attorney. It actually works for that. For the next one in line is your accountant, your CPA, a CPA, someone that can actually bring potential buyers to you, but most importantly, they understand the financial structuring of your business, because they've been doing your taxes. Are your taxes up to date? Are you legally in compliance, right, with everything? And having an attorney on, again, someone that understands how you do business and how you run your business is very, very important.
And having a banker is also a good member to have on your team. Having an insurance agent that understand your business and understand your market that you're in, and a professional business consultant like me and my co-host, who's experienced, who understand the landscape of the marketplace, who can help you to grow your business. Those 5 key professionals can really help you in your business before you sell it.
Right. And then this next one is, and this is all part of like selling a house, right? Is having your website updated in line with your purpose, making sure your mission and vision statement is exactly in line with what the company does. And if we've been in business for 10, 15, 20 years, we may have adjusted that, or we may have had to make some adaptations like during the pandemic. A lot of businesses are not the same as they were pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, they had to actually change their business model. So you want to make sure your website, your social media, your marketing material are all in line with what your business is doing today. So most of us have a website that we never ever go back and change. If it was created 20 years ago, and I have to say one of my websites is like that. But I use my social media more, and I have other websites that I'm connected to Business Zone, and those are up to date. But my own personal business, I kind of do business differently. So I would have to go in and update all of that if that's what I was trying to do. But making sure all of those are in line with what your business is, who your business is, and what your branding story is, making sure that it's current, up to date, making sure it's attractive, just like the same thing with a house. making sure that it's attractive for a new buyer.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And also, I think they now have an ADA compliance like Apple, Apple. So ADA compliance.
Yes.
So you guys want to check your website, see if it's ADA compliant. If not, reach out to your website person and say, hey, can you make my site ADA
Yeah, it's time to upgrade your upgrade that. Social media should be clean and business-like. Your LinkedIn. Now, I know this is big, man, because a lot of times, because we're doing the podcast, both of my podcasts, when I go to your LinkedIn to pull down information about you and your company, my God, people, y'all all need to go back to your LinkedIn and you need to make it current. Nothing, I mean, if you created that LinkedIn 15 years ago or 5 years ago, it's changed, man. You got to go in and keep it current, up to date, so people will know who and what you are. Because a lot of times LinkedIn is your professional social media. And so people go there first to see who you are and that you are legitimate. So go to your LinkedIn. This one's more important, I think, than your Facebook. But for you as a person, your LinkedIn needs to be updated. It shouldn't be showing that when you work for somebody 25 years ago and that's the only entry there. Your company ain't even there at all. But so you need to go there and update it so it reflects what your story is today. And then your social media, Facebook page, your Instagram page should show. One would be great if you need to start increasing your followers, because again, somebody's buying your business, so he wants to make sure that you have a following, that you have potential customers out there and a baseline for that. So making sure that is in place. So very important, guys. We don't think that's important, but it is. And then finally, your company's privacy policy must be current and up to date. Your insurances must be current and up to date. Your operations manual should be current and up to date. What else, Gilbert?
Give your standard operating procedure as well, because that's going to help the new buyer to understand your processes. How does stuff work from A to Z? That type of thing. So you want to have that SOP or standard operating procedure in place, as well as these key other documents.
Okay, so we're going to stop with those 12, and then we'll bring back some more in between it before this month is out. But it takes time. So this is enough for you guys, these 12 points here, for you guys to really think about what it looks like, and to just mull it over. What do I want to do with my business? Does it have no value and it's just going to close the doors, which would be pretty sad. But if it isn't, and it does still is a profitable business, then you should be thinking about what the end journey is going to be. And then for you, as the business owner, maybe it is time. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you want to spend time with just your family and your wife and your children, and you want to start cruising around the world. From a personal standpoint, what does that look like for you? How much money do you need, especially if you're close to retirement at 65, 72, whatever that is? Will you have enough money in order to live after post business? So those are the questions you should be asking yourself now. I would imagine, most of our listeners are probably 50 plus. So, you about to run into that fourth act. And so what will that fourth act look like? And how will you be able to support yourself during that time? So this is a good reflection period. Like retirement, you can't decide to do this like 2 years before you're about to retire. This is a process that a good 5 to 10 to 15 years should be the thought process, or at least an exit strategy. And in fact, you could probably go back to your business plan if you have one, and there was an exit strategy at some point. Now you have to make sure that your exit strategy is in line with where you are currently in your business. So that's what we have to say on exit strategies. Definitely a pro. Gilbert and I are all in alignment and pro on having an exit strategy. Nobody is going to be in business until they take their last breath.
That is so true, man. That's why, as entrepreneurs, guys, you want to be ready, want to be prepared. You know, being ready at all times is such a great thing, man. It gives you a high. It makes you feel so special because you go, man, you know, anything goes down right now, I can just jump on it. And as a matter of fact, as we know, we got a FIFA World Cup coming in 2026, and we got the Olympics coming in 2028. So those opportunities, those contract opportunities, are going to just keep jumping at you. You know, the closer you get to those due dates. So, you know, I wouldn't complain at all, man. I'll just take advantage of this information that we're presenting you with, and see.
Okay, so we're going to kind of close it with a summary. 12 questions to consider prior to exit. Question one is, what is your annual revenue? 2, what is your EBITDA? And that is your earnings before interest, tax, and amortization. I think today they call them add backs or something. What is your profit? Number 4, how many employees do you have? Number 5, are there liens on your business? Number 6, how much debt do you have? Number 7, what can an existing owner do to increase the value of a business in the interim period prior to selling? And number 8, do you have an effective team working with you? Attorney. Number 9, CPA or accounting firm. Number 10, the company's website, is it up to date and in line with your current purpose and business model? Number 11, does the website, social media, marketing materials tell the same story that you're telling? And number 12, is the company's privacy policies and operation policies current and up to date? That's some homework for you if you're looking to what the exit strategy should be for the business you're running. So with that, you know, Gilbert has some struggles with voice, with audio on the front end and then on the back end, but we're gonna be all right next week.
For sure, man, for sure.
So we want
to thank you guys for sticking with us and, you know, going through some of these torturous moments when we're trying to log in. Who knows? Maybe next week will be my co-host's turn to deal with some issues. You never know, man. So, and the beauty about this is when these challenges come about, we just shake it off and just flex our muscles and just jump into it and make it happen. So,
and look at that. Now your voice, your sound is perfect.
At the
didn't really want to talk about exit strategy, but all right, we did anyway. So guys, we want you to have a fantastic weekend. Monday, I am starting Biz Camp, our summer program that I do with the kids. We have 40 kids registered and we're excited. We have 6 amazing interns all coming from, they're all in 5 of them are still in college. 1 just graduated. And so we're excited for their assistance, and we're excited to see what happens on the back, on the other side of it. How many of them come up with these amazing business ideas? We're actually incorporating AI this year into the curriculum, having the children, the young people, young entrepreneurs, the future entrepreneurs of tomorrow, use AI to help them build better or create better, more impactful, disruptive type of businesses that are solving some of the current problems that we have in our world today. So I'm excited. So I'll be bringing that back to us with an update next Friday. And so I might be a little tired next week, guys, because I gotta be at class at 7:30 in the morning. And it's going to go from 7:30 to 2. And so I'll just have enough time to come back home for the show. So I will be looking to bring you guys some riveting information about BizCamp.
Yeah.
So with that, Gilbert, are you ready to sign on off?
I am ready to sign off.
All righty. So hit our exit. So we'll see you guys. Go over to real quick, Gilbert, before you do that, go over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Become a subscriber to the Business Zone. You will get some incredible information. We have an archive of over 700 videos. We've been on air actually for 8 years, coming July 7th. So going over there, we'd love to have you. It doesn't cost you a dime, and hopefully information is valuable. It's free, because if you would come to Gilbert and I without coming here, it's gonna cost you.
That's
so
right.
go on over there where it's free and hit that subscribe button. And with that, we're gonna sign off for this week.
Right.
Gilbert, hit the music.
That's what we're talking about. See you guys next week.
As a small biz pro, that's how we roll. Using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, that's how we grow. Using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.